It might be a bit of an obvious answer, but yes, of course. SEO is a fantastic marketing tool, and as long as you give it the right time and find those right keywords and do your research, then I promise that SEO will turn out to be your best marketing tool and the things that help you successfully run a business for several years to come. Hey there, and welcome. My name is Jordan Snider, and I'm the CTO here of Token Creative Services. Welcome to our SEO video mini-series. We're going to be hosting a series of educational videos, all focused around businesses helping make the most of their SEO. I'm hoping to get in front of business owners who potentially don't know a lot about SEO or maybe aren't doing SEO for themselves today. The series of videos is designed to be extremely helpful and for beginners entirely. So if you run a business or have a small team somewhere, then I'd encourage you to check out all of these videos. By going step by step through these videos, we'll be covering a series of technical topics that make sure that you know everything that you need to know as a business owner and SEO in 2021. So today's topic that we're talking about is understanding probably the first question that comes into every business owner's mind when they're starting a new SEO project, and that's, will I get leads from SEO? So to start off by saying, SEO is the #1 marketing tool for medium to long-term sustainable growth for your business. And just like any business owner, you'd be expecting an ROI for the marketing that you do. So for sure, search engine optimization falls within that realm of a marketing tool that should always get some sort of return on investment for business owners. So I always like to use the analogy that SEO is the #1 marketing tool, and it's my personal favorite for business owners. And I like to contrast the vehicle of SEO compared to perhaps a paid channel or perhaps even just a social campaign. SEO, in my opinion, is a far better investment for business owners, and I'll use this example. Imagine you were to hire an agency to manage your pay-per-click advertising campaigns. That's awesome. Pay-per-click is any form of advertising is incredible, and if you're not doing it already, I'd really encourage you to check it out because it's probably going to be a really good avenue for leads. But just to use the analogy, imagine you ran pay-per-click advertising for a full year on Google. In a situation like that, you're probably paying an agency for both the advertising spend and the ad management fee to actually run that campaign. Picture what happens where you continue to run for a year happily, getting leads over that year. As you continue to invest in ad spend and probably continue to raise that ad spend, you're going to get more and more leads. And granted, it's great for instant gratification. What happens now when you turn that funnel of ad spend off? All of those leads will almost immediately stop. You don't really have anything to show after that year of advertising. And granted, you've probably got some really awesome leads over that time. There's a gap because as soon as you stop that budget, those leads from ads stop coming in. Now, in that same example, let's imagine, say, that same business decided to invest in SEO for the greater part of a year without spending that money on pay-per-click advertising. And granted, while SEO is a little bit slower to grow, I don't think they would have seen an instant gratification to the same capacity that they would have done for pay-per-click advertising. They certainly wouldn't have got as many leads right at the gate. But what happens after that year where you turn SEO off? Your rankings remain. Now, granted, ranking degradation is a bit of a thing. So as Google's algorithms change, or perhaps as your competitors decide to start working on their SEO and grow that, your rankings might degrade a little bit. You might not end up being the first ranking, but fact remains that once you've invested in SEO, you've got rankings that really do stick with your business in a really solid way. And as long as you maintain those rankings, then you will stay consistently on that first page of Google. And with anything to do with marketing, especially business, I really do want you to think about these things on a longer term perspective. Like again, pay-per-click advertising is great if you need a short gratification and you need those instant leads. But any business owner, when they start a business, they're choosing to start that business, hopefully, for a very long time, for 5, 10 years, long term. Maybe you decide to retire by selling your business. Maybe you decide to hand your business down to your kids. Those are all amazing visions, and I'd like to think that SEO is a vehicle to help you get there with your business. SEO is a long-term investment, but if you invest in it now with the start of your business and let that grow, then that's going to stick with you for a lifetime, and that investment in SEO is going to see a consistent stream of leads every single month for your business. And who doesn't want that? Now, one of the key things to remember for any business owner is that search engine optimization is all about changes to your website and changes off to your website that all ultimately impact your ability to rank better. And that's determined by a lot of things, but ultimately, you're building a reputation in your digital footprint in a way that represents authority to Google, or any search engine like even Bing. And when these search engines think that you have a lot of authority, or they see that the internet around the world trusts you, then they're going to trust you too, and be more likely to give you that traffic and that awesome SEO juice. And the key to the traffic that we send to your website with SEO is that these are highly interested, relevant users coming to your website. This isn't just an ad that somebody's seeing on a different website, even if it was in the same industry. The best thing about SEO is that somebody is searching for a problem or asking a question. And ideally, those keywords or those key phrases that they've used have been optimized and are something that your website is ranking for. And in a perfect world, when a user is naturally exploring the internet for a problem or for a solution that they have, then it'd be really awesome if your business came up as a proposition to that solution. You can see here that instead of just clicking on an ad, which a lot of people might not do, SEO is all about giving them access to something that feels natural and feels right to them. So SEO is also a bit of a game of numbers, and so I always like to use the 1% rule with business owners. And while granted, different trends in different industries is always going to be vastly different, there's a standard that says, on average, across all industries, across all websites, there's an average internet conversion rate of about 1%. And no, that doesn't sound like a lot because it really isn't. But if your website is converting well and you've got really great messaging and people can find your website, then I would hope for about a 1% conversion rate. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but we play the game of numbers there. So imagine if we sent 1,000 people to your website in 1 month, and that just happened naturally. Of those 1,000 people, if you were doing well, then you'd see about 10 leads coming out of that. Now, whether those 10 leads ultimately convert into a sale is ultimately up to your sales team, but we enable you to get those leads every single month. Now imagine what happens if we ramp that up even more. Imagine if we were to able to increase your traffic to your website by 25% or 50%. By that same sort of logic, if we continually increase the amount of traffic coming to your website, and those continue to be relevant and interested people, then we'll still continue to convert at that rate of about 1%. With any luck, and with some conversion rate optimization, we'll actually see that be even better. But now in the same example, if instead of getting 10 leads and 1,000 visitors to your website, imagine if we sent 2,500 and you started to get 25 leads from that. As you can imagine, it's exciting to think about, but it takes a lot of work to get there. All right, so you're probably wondering, how can I get started? How can I start to get all of these leads? Well, it's going to take a lot of learning if you don't have an agency or a partner to work with. If you've got questions, then there's lots of free articles and learning out there. But the very first step is to pick your keywords. And this might require a lot of work on your part, or you might be able to find a team that can help you do that. The key is that you want to try to find the different types of things that users are potentially looking for when they find your website. And if you're probably using Google Search Console, then you can find those different keywords that people are using to find your website already today. But if you're a new website and you don't have access to that historical data, that's okay. Think about it from this perspective. If somebody were to land on your pages, what are the types of questions that they would ask? Or what are the types of things that you would document in an FAQ? Now, if those are probably frequently asked questions, and that's about a specific topic, then it's more than likely that certain people might be searching for those types of FAQs right on Google. But the idea is to try to get into the heads of your users. Try to think about this logically. What are users searching for, or what should a user search for when they find your product? Now, once you've picked your keywords, the fun begins, and it's all about technical optimization. I won't go into too much detail here because there'll be a series of SEO videos coming out after this one, which will cover all about it. But the idea is that you want to take those keywords and you want to optimize your website to have those. Either to have synonyms, either have that direct keyword or key phrase, and have that be in a lot of places. Your URLs, your heading tags, your titles, your meta descriptions, pretty much everything. And you want it to be cohesive, so before you jump into a new SEO project, I'd really recommend think about your branding. All right, the next step becomes the content. And now this is going to be a tough part, but content strategies and an SEO strategy always go hand in hand with each other. And the idea is this. Sure, people might be searching for things and come across your website naturally through Google, but a content strategy helps us support the type of users that we're looking for and really attracts them. So the idea is if you were to sell a luxury car brand, then you could optimize your website all you wanted for those luxury cars, but you're only going to get so many people. But if that same luxury car brand decided to put out new vehicle manuals, feature videos, really awesome things, or really exciting car videos on YouTube, they are more than likely to start engaging users that are probably interested in the kind of cars that they're posting about or the kind of things that they sell. And so in that example, there's a content strategy going on where they're trying to engage and attract users who are likely their audience. Similarly so, with the kind of videos that we're creating here, we're creating SEO videos as a part of our own content strategy to help business owners that we might be interested in working with. Now, content can be extremely difficult and extremely time consuming. So before you really jump into it and before you go ahead and start posting blogs, maybe take a look at what your competitors are doing. There's a lot of different types of content strategies out there. They can be videos, one-pagers, or seriously, just a simple blog post. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but each industry tends to do things a little bit differently. So I'd recommend take a look at what your competitors are doing and try to 10x it. And by that I mean, look to what your competitors are doing and don't copy it, but do it 10 times better. Okay, so you've done all the hard work. You've picked some keywords, you optimize your website, and you've got loads of good content out there. Now you can actually start to enjoy the benefits of SEO. Over the next couple months, you're going to start to see yourself rank for the targeted keywords that you want to rank for, and if you're lucky, extra free organic keywords that just come along with it. Now, that's not an immediate process, and ranking for keywords is something that you're going to start to see over the first couple months of your project. But that's really where the fun can begin. So as long as you continue to optimize your website, continue to target new keywords, and turn out that awesome content, then right out of the gate, you really should start to see an increase in your traffic, especially within the first couple months. Okay friends, so that covers our first video, and I hope it made sense. It might be a bit of an obvious answer, but yes, of course. SEO is a fantastic marketing tool, and as long as you give it the right time and find those right keywords and do your research, then I promise that SEO will turn out to be your best marketing tool and the things that help you successfully run a business for several years to come. To see how you're doing today, feel free to drop us a line at tokencs.ca. All of our contacts on our website will be in the description below or in the social posts going along with this video. If you have any questions, Token Creative Services would be happy to help you with your SEO strategy. My name is Jordan Snider. Thanks for watching.